Hi guys. So this morning top-down analysis backtest or previous trade I did call out on AUDCAD and that of CADCHF. That was 2023. Like I said to you guys, I always explain the trade back to you guys. Okay. So all this trade, not just me sending the shout out. I did call out the entries in figures too for people to do what? To leverage in. Okay. So I did call out the entry for people to leverage on the O trade. Okay. AUDCAD. That was 2023 October. Let's go back to October 2023. So, okay, here's this entry here. You can see it here. This is the entry here. I personally also leverage on, I usually leverage on most of the entry. You can see this is November entry, excuse me. This was, the analysis was something I start October, which is, you can excuse me, I start the analysis, start looking out for projection of it, that possibility price to come and test that area. So and price did move greatly, which is out of what? November 20, when price get to this whole area here. Now, on this whole analysis, the reason behind it, what makes me to call out the trade, those are things I want to explain to you guys this morning. Now, if you look at this whole area here, excuse me, let me go back to the analysis itself, the previous of the trade, okay? So those of you asking questions so that you guys can learn one or two things from it. Let's go downward, okay? This analysis, if you look at it, I did the analysis November 13, which is this date. You can see it here. And this is the time, okay? And that was the next day after I call out the trading figures out to those in the premium platform for them to leverage on the old trade, which is this, okay, result after. Now, what makes me to call this trade is simple. If you all pay attention to this, before price going upward, we already have a clear structure that was bearish, which is this. Price was downward, bearish, like this, okay? Have a clear bearish structure, which is all this. Now, and when price is in a bearish structure, it usually forms lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. The moment price comes back upward and break this lower high here, automatic, what that tells us is that this whole bearish structure here, it is no longer what? Valid. But we are not going to jump into the market. Well, you need to be extremely conservative, okay? This time around, okay? You need to wait for price to come and test this whole area back. And when price came back to test this whole levels here, what price did there, it is what we call the breakout and retest. So this is no longer going to be what? A bearish structure. It has turned to bullish structure. This will now be higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. The new trend has now presented itself to us. So instead of you looking out for opportunity to go short, this time around, what you should be looking out for, it is opportunity to buy the market upward. So all you need to do is to wait for bullish reversal candlestick at this whole area here. So that was the first thing I first of all look out on, that of the daily time frame. It is a clear indication that the trend has changed from that of the bearish structure to bullish structure. So also, if you look at this whole area here, the levels there, what we call change of polarity, resistance broken now turn to what? Support. So the moment price break these levels there, it is no longer a bearish structure. It has changed to what? Bullish structure. So all I need to be looking out for, it is an opportunity to go long, not to go bearish. So also, if you all look at what I did also, I went to that of the lower time frame. When I switch to lower time frame, every decision I'm going to take on that of the lower time frame should be in line with that of what the higher time frame is telling me, which it is an indication that we are now in a bullish structure. Every opportunity I should be looking out for on that of the lower time frame, it is to buy, not to go against that of what the higher time frame tells me. Now, if you go to this old time frame here, now let's go to 4-hour time frame, which is the 4-hour time frame. Now, let me go to 4-hour time frame so that you guys can see this clearly. Now, on that of 4-hour time frame, we clearly have a change of structure. Just what I did explain to you guys now. So on 4-hour time frame, what I did was to adjust my structure, adjust my horizontal, excuse me, my horizontal line, so that I will look for opportunity to buy the market upward, and also look for other things that are in line with reason for me to go on a long entry. Now, when I switch to that of 4-hour time frame, you guys can see this. Here was the resistance levels before. Resistance boku now turn to what? Support. So what I usually do is this. I will make this double the horizontal line like this. Okay. Now I will be looking out for opportunity to go what? Bullish. So on this time frame also, we could clearly see that price did what? Fall downward, start converging, right? The moment I have this, it is a reversal pattern. Excuse me, in an upward trend line, it is a continuation pattern. But when you spot this kind of formation on a support level, what that simply means is a reversal pattern. But in this case here, we spot it in a bullish structure, which is this higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So what that tells me is that I should look for opportunity to buy the market upward. So also the other thing I did apply on this whole analysis is that I did make use of my channel, okay, to be able to see possibility area of interest where price is likely going to get to before falling backward, downward. So when I did this, if you notice, here was a breakout, a retest. This is a bullish engulfing candlestick. Your stop loss should be below this horizontal support levels there, and your target, first target, I repeat, should be at the start of the convergence of the structure of the pattern, which is that of what? 122 pips. But once I make use of this my parallel channel, I can always withhold my trade to this whole area here. So 2 years ago, this whole market gave me over ratio 1 to 4, simply by using this whole stuff I just explained to you guys now. So how many days did it take? So it only takes what? 1 week to be able to what? To achieve all this whole move upward. I repeat, the money is in the waiting. It has nothing to do with what? You buy it and sell it. Once you have been able to pinpoint what works best for you, stick to it. Keep calm, the opportunity will present itself to you. It's just a matter of what? Time. Now, the next analysis we're going to go and look is more or less like the same thing. But the formation of this was not that slope, but price did what? Converge. But the same thing I did look out for is the same approach of what I did on that of what? AUDCAD. Now let's go to this AUDCAD here. Now, before I go to the AUDCAD, now it's not a must for you to clearly wait for the clear breakout above this area here. In as much you have been able to spot rejection on that of the support levels, which is the resistance boku turn to what? Support. Change of polarity what? Levels. It is a clear indication that price will go upward. And also, this whole area here, we call it failure to return. This is the first time visit, which is what makes the price did what? Went upward massively. There is nothing big deal about it. You can see what price did. Plays around several times before falling backward, down. So, another thing I want to show you guys, that of the CADCHF, which is this entry here, the CAD May 29 CADCHF. Let's go and look for the entry CADCHF. Okay, CADCHF. So let's look for the entry May 29 2023. So let's look for the entry, not this. Okay, let's go and look for the entry so that you guys can see. Now, majority of the trade I usually call out, they are swing trade. I'm not a day trader. Likewise, I hardly scalp. Okay, so sometimes I might not have opportunity maybe in 2 or 3 days, even 4 days. But once I have the opportunity, I usually will to trade for long and make a tons of what? Profit. Example of such trade is this. If you look at all the old gold we've traded this year, these are all the old gold we have traded this year. If you look here, these are the results. Okay, you can see these are all the old gold we've traded this year. This was the first entry we did leverage on January. You can see it here. So this is the entry. This was our first loss this year, which is this. Okay, we caused the loss. We cut the loss because price is no longer going as we projected. Okay, so this is a long time trade. Like I said on the analysis, you can see, and that was the what result after. Ability to understand what worked perfect. You have nothing to be worried, and again, all you simply need to do is to keep adding more entry. Okay, so all these, they are long time position that I personally will also leverage on. Also, I think I update the last update. Okay, final entry, which is this. I also gave instruction that gold is going to get to what 3,000 level. These are all things that usually pass across to people that are on the Premium platform. Okay, now and also I do drop some of the chart to free channels also. If you look the gold, most of the gold trade I drop it on the whole channel also. You can see it. This whole entry I did ask them to leverage on it also. So wave of it, which is this, you can see it. I gave them the analysis for them to leverage on it also. And also another subwave extension, subwave of wave 5, I also gave it to them, which is this whole entry here. Okay, I gave it to them for them to work, to leverage on the whole entry as a continuation. Also, the last entry I gave out to the base channel, which is this. Okay, I also asked them to buy the entry. Now on this whole analysis, I was extremely conservative, which is why I have my invalidate level. On the norms, we should have looked for entry here, but I believe that once price get to this area here, there is possibility that price is going to break the whole levels. So let's go to our next analysis, which this is my second channel, which I usually call out the reef synthetics on this platform. Okay, so but the main old channel is this whole platform here. Okay, I do drop my before and after, which is going to help you to learn one or two things. Okay, now also I've been trading wave for over 3 years now. If you want to know more about wave, you can go through this platform. These are all trade I call out with wave. This is a triangles, and what triangles simply mean is that dominant trend is going to resume. That was the reason why I call first entry here, second entry at this whole area here. So let's go to our continuation of what we're talking about. Okay, this is CADCHF. Now the CADCHF was a trade I called on the Premium platform for every one of them to leverage on. So that was May 2023. Excuse me, these are all last year. Let's go to May 2023. Okay, this was in this case here, this was an example of a falling wedge, but this time around was spotted on a support area. In this case, it is not a continuation pattern. We call this a reversal pattern. The moment you spot it on a what? On a support. Let me pin this and I will explain it to you guys so that you guys can as well what? Get the knowledge. I want to go to that of the mail entry so that you all can get the whole stuff I'm passing across on the analysis. So I think here is the entry here. Okay, so this is the entry. Okay, I call out several entry to those in the Premium platform. Okay, now those of you that used to ask questions, I do have losses, but my losses are always what? Lower than my what? My winning, far lower than my what? My winning trade. So I'm usually not bothered when I have a losing trade, because it's just a matter of time that I'm going to have a winning trade. If you look here is a 2 loss, and I have what? 3 winning trade at a go. 1, 2, 3. Remove the lot from that, losses from that of what? The winning trade. So these are the trade I did explain now. First entry, second entry, and third. And if you look at my first entry was a pending order. Then second entry was what? Market execution, and third entry was market execution. So these all three I did show to you guys now. Let's go and the analysis itself. So this analysis. Now the reason behind this whole analysis, it's simple. If you look here, that's what I did explain to you guys now. The whole market here was clearly a bearish structure. And once we have a bearish structure, opportunity you should be looking out for is to sell the market down. So this is the bearish structure here, right? But if you pay attention to this whole area here, there was a support levels before, right? Support broken now. The price break this support, it turns to what? Resistance. The moment price came back upward to break it, automatic, it is no longer what? A support. Excuse me, it's no longer a resistance levels. It has now turned to what? Support. Also, structure-wise, if we apply this is a new what? Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. A new what? There was a high here, there was a high here, but price came back and break the what? The high. The moment price breaks it, came back to testing. Every opportunity I should be looking out for is to buy the market upward. This is a clear what? Change of structure from that of the bearish to that of what? Bullish structure. So having done this on that of the higher time frame, my own lookout should be, I will be looking for reason to leverage on such opportunity on that of the lower time frame. And the reason why I'm going to lower time frame is to have a smaller stop loss in line with my swing approach. Now, once I did this, you can see this. I marked this as my what? My key area of interest, right? On that of higher time frame. Now, the moment I did this, I went to that of lower time frame, which I switched to that of what? 4-hour time frame. You can always use time frame below that of what? Daily time frame. It depends on how you are able to what? To mark up the levels. Now, if you look on that of 4-hour time frame, the levels we mark, we can always adjust it. Okay. Now, automatic, this whole area here is going to be my support levels. Now, it is a support because here was a resistance levels before. Before being resistant, it was a support here before. Broke will now turn to what? Resistance. The moment price breaks it also, it has turned back to what? Support. That is, this is a supply zone. The moment price breaks this supply zone, it has turned to what? Demand. So having done this, I was able to pinpoint that, okay, what price is currently doing, it is a convergence of price, and it also presents to us a continuation pattern, which is what I did there. Okay, and I was able to do this, right? That this market is going to do what? It's going to go upward. Let me remove this. Now, that is going to go what? Upward. So this time around, we have a continuation pattern. We can as well call this, because it's not that obvious that is a what? A continuation pattern, because this time around it was spotted on a support area. We can call it a reversal pattern. But the reason why I don't like to call it a reversal pattern is simple. Had it been, price came from up to these old levels now. For example, had it mean this price came from up downward leg before start converging like this, then we can clearly call it a what? Reversal pattern. You can clearly call it a what? A reversal pattern. But this time around, the price came from downward before it starts converging. So that's the reason why I call it what? Continuation pattern, which is a what? A falling wedge. Now, we have several ways of taking entry of this trade. Those of us that are extremely conservative, we can always wait for clear breakout above this whole area here, while our stop loss will be below the levels. But for me, in as much I've been able to pinpoint the convergence, I usually leverage at this whole area here, which is the reason why I call the pending order buy limit at what? 66,300. For them to what? To leverage on the old trade. Now, I have several ways of take profit of this trade. The first thing I usually do is that to measure the wideness between the lower trend and that of the upper trend. Then I'm going to place it on the breakout of the level. So that will be my first what? My first target. Excuse me. I'm going to place it between from the starting point of the support levels. That will be my what? My first target. Now, if you notice, when price gets to the area, it pull back a little bit before continuation upward. Now, you have several reasons to withhold the trade. Don't forget, we are no longer in a bearish structure. It has turned to what? To bullish structure. So all we simply need to do is to keep compounding. By also, we keep trailing our what? Our stop loss. Now, if you look at this whole area here, it is a clear indication. Higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low. Higher high. Now, also, if you look here was the resistance levels before. Resistance levels now broken, turn to what? Support. So these are all bullish reversal candlesticks for you to buy the market well. Even if you miss entry here, you can as well what? Leverage at this whole area here. Resistance broke on to what? Support. Price came to test the level. Now you should not take entry here and your stop loss will still be here. No. Once you have been able to take entry at all this whole area here, the new entry that you are taking entry from this area here, for example, now you move all your stop loss from these old levels now to this new low here. So automatic, you are only taking risk, taking part of the profit that is running. You are only risking part of it to take this new entry. That is how you compound. And also, if you use 0.05 as example as a lot size from this entry here, you can always use one standard lot size at this omega here, simply because you already have a winning trade. Once it progresses, you will make more what? Profit. And if it goes against you, you are not going to lose your capital. You only lose few of the running what? Profit. And why you still make what? A reasonable what? Profit. So those are things I did on this whole